Good morning, you guys. I'm here having my cup of tea. No makeup on, but I have a little bit of mascara. I didn't want to scare you. I just woke up making breakfast and all that. And I just want to welcome you to the channel again. This is the channel where I give you some very powerful tips and tricks to align your life with the happiness and the success that you want. Today is how to let go of resentment part 2. And the reason why I'm doing that one today is because I had a huge fight with my husband yesterday. Isn't it funny? It's like I posted the video for resentment. If you haven't watched it, I'm going to put the link below. And then we had a fight. And then I got into resentment. And it was time for me to practice what I preach. And I found myself having a hard time. And so I wanted to make a video really explaining the whole process in more detail. Because the truth is that when something happens, which by the way, what happened in a way was something simple and small, but it was something that really, really pissed me off. And we're fine now, like we've talked about it and we made amends and we're working on, turning the page. But at the beginning, like it usually happens, the first reaction that we have is to get into anger or maybe disappointment, frustration, all those emotions. And the first thing is that you have to allow yourself to feel. In this channel, it is not about like suppressing your emotions and pretending that you're happy all the time, because that's what we already do anyway. The idea here is that you develop authentic happiness. The kind of happiness that is there even when you're alone and in silence. That you're able to have sort of a center that you always return to. And you have the tools to stay there to the best of your ability for most of the time. That's why I always say that this is about becoming 95% happier. And I leave a 5% there because those initial reactions that we have, we've been having them for so long that they're hardwired into our brain, right? So the minute that the stimulus comes, boom, you're going to have a reaction. So you're a human being. And so in the first video, I talked about being able, first asking yourself, how did you attract this particular situation? And yesterday I was doing that. I was like, how did I manifest this? But what I realized is that sometimes it is hard to determine how you attracted it. And remember, this is not about who's guilty. It's not about guilt. It's about understanding the law of attraction and understanding that everything that comes into your life comes because of frequency. At some level, you have to be vibrating at the same level of what's happening. This is just math. Like, it's just physics. It's just the way it is. This is not hocus pocus and, wishful thinking. This is science. But the thing is that we're multidimensional beings. We have more levels than we realize. Like at the conscious level, you might not know how you manifested it. Maybe it is something subconscious, or even it is something that comes from past lifetimes or other generations that has been passed down from one generation to the next, especially when it comes to relationships. Because there's, the famous male-female rift, where we've had these dynamics in between the sexes for centuries. And there's a pain body associated with that. And there's a lot of emotions that have not been processed that can come through in your current relationship. And a lot of times you might get, overreact or get really angry because of that. Or because maybe past baggage that you have. I know in my case, I definitely could identify yesterday that a lot of it was because of my baggage. And the way that the universe works is that it's going to give you this point of noticing, right, what you need to work on, what you haven't healed. It brings it sort of back, it brings it into your awareness so that you can now see it and then work on it. Because life is a mirror, right? It works as a mirror. So yesterday it took me a minute, but then I realized it probably has to do with my past relationships. It has to do with my ancestors and the women in my family, and all the anger that we've had throughout the years with men, because this is something, and a lot of women don't even realize that they have this, but most women do, to some degree or another, because of the history of women. And I was able to at least allow myself to feel and to understand that maybe I was over projecting towards him a lot more than what the situation was, or like what I should have. But that's only natural, so I allow myself to feel. And then the next thing that I did was ask myself, what am I learning about myself? You know, what is this teaching me about what I need to heal? What is this teaching me about what I want, what I don't want, how I communicate, etc.? So in that way, I could feel slowly but surely that resentment and that anger starting to fade off. But to be honest, like, I spent a lot of hours just mulling it over, being really angry, upset. And that's okay too, right? Like I said, this is not about being phony and going around smiling all the time and pretending that everything's okay, because that is bullshit. And I'm sorry, pardon my French, but I hate bullshit. Like, I like real. And one of the things that drove me to create this channel in the first place was that I feel like so many people, so many of us, I know that I have in the past, try to put a brave face on and just smile and pretend that everything's okay. But at the end of the day, deep inside, we know that we're not okay. And the idea is to get to a point where you are okay and happiness is the rule in your life instead of being the exception. Sound good? All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Check out the other resentment video. Make sure to subscribe, to like, to share. I love to have you here. It is so much fun to share with you. I'm sending you a big kiss, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.